how can a guy honestly feel that he is worthy of an attractive woman to the point where he feels 100% confident that he is good enough for her? How can a guy honestly feel like that? Because if a man is very rich, then it's often easy for him to feel worthy of an attractive woman. He can feel like, okay, cool, she's going to like me because of my car, because of the house I live in, and the fact that I can take her on expensive holidays, take her to expensive restaurants, buy her things and so forth. So he feels worthy because he's such a rich guy. And if a guy is a very good looking guy to the point where people have told him that he's very handsome, then that will often result in him feeling like, okay, he's worthy of attractive women. If he sees a pretty girl, a pretty woman, he'll feel like, okay, she's going to like me because of how handsome I am. Yet what about all other guys, right? How does a guy feel like he's worthy of a pretty girl or an attractive woman? Well, if you think about it, there are some guys that know how to do this, and you will have noticed it all the way back to your school days. You'll have noticed that there were guys who could talk to the girls and make them like them, and there were guys that looked on and felt stunned by the girls and didn't know what to say. And they felt awkward and nervous around the girls that they found attractive. And some guys never really understand what is actually going on. So many assume that, oh, she must think he's good looking or something. And as a result, they remain confused. They don't know the answer yet, right? So the guy then goes to work and he's working in an office job, for example, and he's talking to a woman that he finds attractive at an after-work drinks, and he's once again feeling stunned, right? He doesn't know what to say. He's lost for words. He's feeling nervous and unsure of himself around the woman that he finds attractive. So when a guy like that sees an attractive woman, he doesn't automatically think, yeah, of course, she's going to like a guy like me. Of course I'm worthy. I'm 100% confident that she's going to like me. He doesn't feel that. He feels unsure. He feels nervous. He feels like there's a high chance he's going to get rejected or friend-zoned. So the way that it works is that as you go through your life, there are certain things that you can do quite naturally and easily, and other people struggle with, and vice versa. Sometimes you struggle with things that other people do quite naturally. And when it comes to women, some guys naturally understand the behavior of women from a very early age, and they understand the nuances, the subtle nuances. They understand why women behave in certain ways, and they don't get thrown off by that. They don't get nervous and so forth. For example, you may walk up and start a conversation with a woman and be confident and use a good conversation starter, but she might react in a bit of an awkward way and not say much because she actually suffers from anxiety and she doesn't know how to quickly get into a more social mood and be more open and friendly. The interaction then feels awkward and fizzles out, and she goes away kicking herself, thinking, why didn't I just say something to him? Why was I so awkward? Why am I like this? I want to be more confident. I want to be more social and so forth, but she suffers from anxiety. Guys who are naturally good with women understand that women aren't going to always react in the exact same way, and they don't expect or need women to react in a particular way in order for them to feel confident in the moment and continue the interaction. Right? So some guys just get it. And they notice that, oh, right, she's feeling a bit nervous, right? Whereas someone like me, I had to learn that through experience of interacting with a lot of women that, oh, right, sometimes you talk to a woman and she doesn't know what to say. Sometimes you talk to a woman and she's feeling nervous and unsure of herself. Sometimes you're talking to a woman and she feels like you're too good for her because of how confident you are. And she then starts feeling unsure of herself. And in some cases, she then starts playing hard to get because she feels like she doesn't have enough value in the dynamic between you and her. So she needs to raise her value a little bit by not being so easy. So for example, if a guy doesn't understand that, he may go into an interaction with a woman, get that sort of reaction, and feel like he's been horribly rejected, or maybe there's something wrong with him. Maybe women just don't like him. You know, he can't seem to keep a conversation going. Like he tried, he was being confident, but it was just awkward. And because he doesn't know how to adjust his approach to the particular woman to get the result, he ends up losing his opportunity with her. So for example, if a guy who's naturally good with women is talking to a woman who seems a bit awkward, he'll turn on the charm a little bit more. He'll give her some more compliments. But if a guy who's naturally good with women is interacting with a woman who's very confident and sure of herself and doesn't want to be getting lots of compliments from guys, wants a guy who's more of a challenge, then he'll be able to offer her that by using some playfully challenging humor in the moment. So for example, if the girl said that she just got her hair done that day and asked the guy what he thinks of it, if he notices that she's very shy and uncomfortable and awkward and so forth, he might be a bit more charming. Stunning, it really suits you. Whereas if he senses that the woman is very confident and prefers a guy who is more of a challenge, he will use some playfully challenging humor and say something like this: "I'm sorry to say that looks horrible. What have you done to your hair?" Or, "Who ruined your hair, girl? What happened?" And then she'll laugh, she'll get that he's joking, and she'll like the fact that he has the balls to playfully mess with her. And he either then might just leave it at that and let her see that he's a challenging guy, or if he senses that she's feeling a bit too nervous and unsure of herself, he might then say something like this: "No, just kidding, you look stunning. Do a little twirl for me, come here. Beautiful, look at you." And he's being confident there, he's being charming, he's being masculine by getting her hand and doing a little twirl, getting her to spin around, and she is going to feel attracted to him in so many ways. Yet a guy who doesn't know how to attract women and thinks that he just needs to be nice to women all the time or be neutral and just get along with them might say something like this: "Oh, that looks really nice. Yeah, where did you get it done? Is that your normal color?" Or he just wants to show her that he's a nice guy, he's trying to get along with her and so forth. So as you may have noticed throughout your entire life, all the way back to your school days and to this day, you've noticed that some guys just naturally create sparks with women that they meet. The guy meets the woman and he knows how to make her feel attracted and turned on and like him right away. Whereas other guys, they're just stunned. They just don't know what to say. They don't know what to do. They feel unsure of themselves. And as a result, if they see an attractive woman, it's very difficult for them to feel like they are worthy. That's something I used to feel as well. I used to feel unworthy because I didn't know what to say or do to make women feel attracted to me. But when I figured it out and I understood how the naturals were attracting women and I started doing it, everything changed. I was able to attract women that would previously not even talk to me for 5 seconds, right? But I was able to make them attracted right away based on how I was interacting with them. They felt attracted to the sort of confidence that I was displaying, the humor that I was using, the charm, the charisma. It instantly made them feel attracted and it increased their attraction as the interaction continued. Not only could a woman make me feel attracted, but I could make her feel attracted too, so we're basically even. She makes me feel attracted, I make her feel attracted. It's a fair deal. So there was no longer any reason to doubt myself or feel unworthy because I had figured out how to make women feel attracted. And therefore, they wanted to be with me. And I enjoyed that for over 10 years before I decided to settle down. And I settled down with my perfect girl when she was 20 and I was 35. And we've been together ever since. So the secret here to understand is that if you want to feel worthy of women that you find attractive, you must know how to attract women. You're not going to feel worthy of attractive women if you go through your life hoping that they like you for some reason. Hoping that you can get the girl to like you by getting along with her. Hoping that she's going to be impressed by what you're doing with your career and so forth, and then she's going to like you. You have to know. You have to have that feeling of knowing where you are 100% certain that if you interact with a woman, you are going to make her feel sparks of attraction. Now, that doesn't mean that a guy can pick up every woman in the world, because sometimes a guy's just not going to be compatible. Or sometimes a guy is going to come across a woman who's a little bit crazy, and he doesn't have to pick up the crazy woman. Additionally, sometimes a guy will come across a woman who's just gone through a breakup and has been cheated on by the second boyfriend in a row, and she has serious trust issues now. She is struggling to open her heart again and give out her number or go on dates because she has been left heartbroken 2 times in a row. So in a case like that, a guy might be talking to her and she may be going through a whole lot on the inside and be worried and anxious and so forth. And if he doesn't know how to make her feel enough attraction to the point where she says, "Stuff it, I don't care what's happened before, I really like this guy, I'm going to give him my number, I'm going to go on a date with him and so forth, then she's probably just going to remain closed up, and she may not want to give out her number or may give him a fake number and go home and feel sad about herself. Another example of this, which has most likely happened to you in your life at some point, is where a woman is interacting with two guys and initially she likes both of them, right? She's open to being with either one of them, but as she interacts with both the guys, she realizes that one of them is a bit insecure compared to the other guy. So for example, guy A seems a bit insecure. She notices that he's saying things during the conversation to sort of brag and hopefully show off and make her like him as a result. And he seems a little bit nervous and unsure of himself when she asks him certain questions. He feels like he might be stuffing up and so forth. She can sense that based on how he's talking to her. Whereas guy B feels worthy of a woman like her, and it shows, right? She senses based on how he's talking to her that he isn't trying to brag about himself and hopefully make her like him because of that. He doesn't feel nervous and unsure when she asks him a challenging question or when she asks him something that would make other guys feel uncomfortable, right? He remains confident and he's able to use some humor in a confident way and make her feel attracted. And she then begins to like guy B, right? And guy A notices that, right? He notices that she's losing interest in him. And at that point, he either appears rejected and starts to go inward, or he tries harder to compete with the other guy and make her like him and so forth. But by that point, she's already determined that guy B is more confident than guy A, and she likes guy B. Yet at the start, she was open to being with either one of them, right? She seemed interested in both of them, but as the interaction continued, she noticed that guy A was insecure, right? He was trying hard to impress her by big-noting himself, bragging, he seemed unsure of himself and so forth. And if a woman is attractive, she would much rather get with a guy who believes in himself and feels worthy of her, right? He still treats her well, still respects her, still shows interest and so forth, but she can see that he feels worthy of a woman like her. If she were to get into a relationship with a guy who doesn't feel worthy of her, it will often result in the guy becoming very clingy, insecure, jealous, and overprotective, and she wants to avoid that. So the thing is, if a guy knows how to make women feel attracted, and he's known that from a young age, or if he's a guy that has learned how to make women feel attracted, and then done it during interactions and seen that women find him attractive, then it's just natural and easy for him to feel worthy of an attractive woman, because she makes him feel attracted, but he knows that he can make her feel attracted too. Yet if a guy doesn't know how to make women feel attracted and he's just hoping that a woman will like him for some reason or because of his job or something like that, or he hopes that if he gets along with her for like an hour then she'll like him and so forth, then he's not going to be getting the sort of feedback, the reactions from women that will make him feel like he's worthy. He'll only ever be getting lucky at times, and it usually won't be with the sort of women he really wants. When he's interacting with a woman that he finds very attractive, he'll often run out of things to say and seem nervous, and he won't be behaving with the same sort of confidence that he has when he's interacting with a woman that he doesn't find that attractive, right? When he's interacting with an attractive woman, suddenly he feels like, oh, how am I going to get this girl to like me? He doesn't have that sense of knowing, and therefore he doesn't go through his life like a guy who's naturally good with women, or like a guy who has learned how to attract women with that knowing, where he can look at an attractive woman and know that he is good enough. Yes, she makes him feel attracted, but hey, he can make her feel attracted too. So if he interacts with her, she's going to feel attracted, and if they're compatible, he's then going to move it forward from one step to the next, and he gets the girl. So if you are a guy who runs out of things to say when you're around an attractive woman, or you don't know what to say to start a conversation with an attractive woman, or you don't feel enough confidence to talk to her, or to continue talking to her, or to touch her, or to initiate a kiss, or to ask for her phone number, then I recommend that you read my ebook, The Flow, or listen to the audiobook version. The Flow is how to go from one step to the next with a woman that you find attractive without getting stuck. Right? You just flow from one step to the next like the naturals do. You start a conversation, you make her feel attracted, and you go from one step to the next, and she wants and welcomes you moving things forward because you're approaching the interaction in the right way. So the thing is, being able to attract women is a skill, right? It's something that you can learn how to do well. It's something that some guys understand how to do well early on, and they're more naturally good at it than others. But some guys have to learn. And guys who don't learn often go through their entire life never really understanding how to get women to like them. And that can then affect their relationships as well. They might get into a relationship with a woman and she is interested initially, but the guy doesn't really understand what makes a woman feel attracted. So he ends up behaving in ways that turn her off. And he may go through a breakup or get cheated on, and he's back at square one, right? Wanting to get himself a woman even though he doesn't even know how to attract women. So it comes down to, well, he just hopes that a girl will like him. He hopes that she will continue liking him, even though he doesn't really know how to attract her. By the way, if you want to learn some examples of what to say and do to make women feel attracted to you, then click on one of the videos on the screen right now and continue learning.